Greetings and salutations. My name is Michael Schwahn and welcome to the channel. We have some more reaction content for you. Today we are checking out Fort Solis, which is one of many games that are set in that like first-person horror experience set in space. I guess that's the new zombie game, right? Like that's what we had in like, what was it, like 2008? That was just like zombie game, or was it movies? That it was like zombie movie all over the place. Everything was zombies. And given the recent slew of announcements, it seems that the new hotness is horror in space. I guess they decided that, you know, oh man, Dead Space is getting a remake. We all better make a game too, because Dead Space was received really well. And now it's time for us to all make horror games in space. Yeah, so there's a whole lot of these, and it'll be interesting to see which ones end up getting received well, and which ones are like, man, this was just fluff filler chaff that was slotted in around everything else that came out in this exact same genre. There are some big names in this. Roger Clark, Julia Brown, Troy Baker. Those are some pretty big voice actors and names involved in gaming. So, I mean, this one probably has a little bit more weight behind it, but I don't know what to expect. We do have two things here, which is the actual gameplay trailer, which the gameplay trailer is also the announcement trailer, as well as the actual interview with Troy Baker and Roger Clark. So we're going to go ahead and just jump into the beginning of these, and let's take a little looksy-looks. Right now, Callisto Protocol is still brained.
29. Today, I can't believe what I saw.
Solis, everything okay in there?
Oh, Jesus Christ. He's wanted a hug, yeah, with his face.
Something's going on here. And I need to find out what it is.
There's always video logs, right? Did anything popularize that video log format like fucking Avatar? Well, what year did Avatar come out? The James Cameron movie. I feel like after seeing the freaking Avatar movie, just everything was like, oh yeah, video logs in space. That's what we should do. I think that's just called a kiss. Not when you know, use your teeth and cover up their entire face with it. All right, let's see what they have to say about the game.
That's something brand new, and look who it is. Troy and Roger in person. Guys, this is so fun, the fact that you're working on a game together. What
Jeff,
cool
is your jacket made out of silk?
Welcome to the show.
Good to be here.
I got to ask you guys.
Star Trek, sure.
Who are your characters in
I'm
this
not
game?
as into Star Trek,
Well,
so.
I get to
I'm not
play
into Avatar either.
Wyatt Taylor is a medical officer who's stationed at this base, Fort Solis. And it's the epicenter of this mystery that we'll discover and uncover as we go through the game. And, of course, my character will be, at times, in opposition with Roger's character.
The battle we've been waiting to see.
Every once in a yeah. Oh, man, we can't wait to show you what we've been working on. And by the way,
Star
Jeff,
logs?
this looks
Okay,
awesome, man.
yeah,
It's so
fair.
great to be here. Thanks for having us.
It's so great that you're in another game. I mean, it's feeling this is your first game since Red Dead 2.
One of the first major ones for a while, and I play a character by the name of Jack Leary. He's a maintenance engineer on a remote Martian mining post.
Okay.
His job is to make sure that none of the equipment breaks down while it's on their graveyard shift. The graveyard shift meaning Mars and Earth are really far apart from each other and their orbits around the sun. So help is not a simple call away.
I gotta ask. I think a lot of people will see this thing and they'll probably wonder.
Hang on. I just want so my opinion of Troy Baker keeps changing all over the place, and it's because Troy Baker keeps changing as a person. He's definitely like a privileged white dude that is trying to learn about society and like what is good and bad and stuff, right? But at his core, at his heart, he's kind of just a child, not in a bad way, not like a man child. Like he's a kid at heart, which is perfectly fine. But I just really, really appreciate that freaking Roger Clark was like, oh yeah, this, that, and the other game. This is who I play and everything like that. And Troy Baker was like, dude, that was awesome. Like, middle of the interview, Jeff's talking like, dude, you did so good. Like, anyway, moving on.
Right? Independent studio in Europe that's making this, but with huge production values. I'm curious, like, how did you guys get attached to this? Tell us a bit about the background.
I will say that 2020 to me was the most impactful year for games. It was the first, I mean, obviously we had this unprecedented event with the pandemic, and that forced the way that we looked at everything as a society, but also the way this industry functioned. But it was also brand new consoles. We had more tools that were being made available that were leveling the playing field between like the AAA studios and the indie studios or the AAA studios. And so, just like anybody else, we got reached out. James Tinsdale with this brand new studio said, we'd like for you to consider being a part of this game. And he walked me through a very brief description of what the experience was going to be like. And in the very beginning, he said, we want this to feel, it's a tight thriller. We want it to feel like Dead Space meets Duncan Jones' Moon. And I was like, sign me up.
What the fuck is Duncan Jones' Moon?
And full like performance capture and everything.
Ah,
right?
yeah.
Absolutely. New studio, brand new energy, and of course, I get to work with one of the best in the business.
And me.
I get the privilege of getting to see this guy and watch him in action. I love to work, and I love the challenges and all the new
2009 movie?
that this
Okay.
medium provides to performers. We can't wait to show you what we've been working on.
Yeah.
I think it's going to
Yeah, I guess I've seen some of the behind the scenes and the performance capture, Unreal Engine 5. I mean, it looks absolutely phenomenal. Can you give us a hint about the gameplay? Like, what are we going to do in this game?
Yeah, the verbs are always important. So we're going to let the game speak for itself. We'll be showing you more later on. But this is a game where you as the player, you're going to be exploring, you're going to be discovering. Like we said, it's a very tight thriller. So you're moving very fast-paced through this world. There'll be multiple locations, multiple ways for you to traverse, which we're excited to show you about. And then the narrative is a huge element to this. They didn't waste any resources on the performance for sure. I got to tell one quick story, if I can. It was one of our favorite moments. There is a lot of action in this game, and that was at the forefront of this. And to speak to the performance capture aspect, we brought in an incredible, I got to give him a shout out to Nathaniel, our stunt coordinator, who walked us through and really approached this in a completely different way than anything I've ever done before. And he says, I want to know the story of this fight. And so Roger and I sat down. We said, these are who our characters are. And he goes, give me 1 hour and I will come back to you with the story of this fight. And after an hour, he comes to us and he goes, it was like a recovery program. It was 12 steps. And he walked us through this incredible fight. And about halfway through, I started tuning him out. And I was like, hey, man, I just want to let you know I've got no ego about this, but I can do a lot of things, but I can't do this. And he grabbed me by my shoulders and he says, oh, you can. You will. And it's going to be glorious. And we
it's
did.
Like a dance. There was a lot of trust, and it worked out.
Yeah, I mean,
we're
big,
excited
big
about it.
stunts. I mean, this is so cool to see. It's an independent studio doing this, teaming up with you guys. We can't wait to see more. Troy, Roger, thanks for joining us here.
Happy to be here.
Summer Game
Thank
Fest.
you.
All right, appreciate it very much, guys. All right, well, next up, keeping up with the space theme, it's time to
Keeping up with the space theme is the 14th space horror game that we have announced yet today. Whichever one it ended up being, because they announced several. So you know, one of the this has nothing to do with Fort Solis either. This is me purely just like overanalyzing people that don't deserve to be overanalyzed. It's interesting to me looking at Troy Baker and Roger Clark here because like. So Troy Baker is doing something that is generally, when it comes to public speaking, is something that you want to avoid. He's doing two things with the microphone. One is that he is setting the microphone on his chin. And that is something that you can do, but it's generally not recommended. But it is the safest place to, if you don't know where to put the microphone, to still try and get relatively clean and clear audio. He's got a pretty strong grip on the microphone too. Meanwhile, Roger Clark over here, Roger Clark is just hanging out, relaxed grip on the microphone. Microphone's coming down to his chest and stuff like that. He holds it up and out and stuff like that. Roger Clark is much more comfortable here. But that's nothing important at all, just something random that I noticed. Anyway, so we also have the Steam page already for Fort Solis, which says Fort Solis is a single-player, third-person thriller set over one long night on Mars. Engineer Jack Leary responds to a routine alarm where events unravel and escalate out of control in a way he could never have imagined. Which is interesting. I think I thought this was a game where you're alone, but maybe not. Troy did seem a lot more nervous. I mean, that's fine. I mean, not everyone is public speakers. That's not a big deal. It was just like observations while they were talking. I do have a worry that too many of these games are going to start to blur and blend together because of how immediately saturated this genre is becoming. And they're all coming out at relatively the same time. They were all announced at relatively the same time. And I feel like there's just going to be some gems that are passed over. I don't think that Fort Solis is going to be one of them. You mean like Soulsians? Yes, just like Soulsians. There's so many Soulsians. A lot are, some are better than others, but most of the time it's only the super big budget ones from known studios that get any attention, and that's not always necessarily the best ones. Personally, I'm not a very big fan of From Software games. I love Soulsians, but I definitely find that From Software games, for me, of the Souls-like genre, is just weaker overall. So, but this one, they got a lot of money. They got some big names. I think this one is going to be something that we see sooner. I wonder how far away this is. Nothing anywhere here mentioned any type of release date at all, and I don't think Steam even has anything. It just says release date coming soon. So this could still be a ways out. Like, I was wondering if maybe we would see some more of this stuff at like the Tokyo Game Show, but none of this stuff ended up coming out. There's a lot of stuff that I was hoping we'd see at the Tokyo Game Show, and it ended up just not finding its way to the forefront. And it's interesting because it sounds like a lot of the back-end work is already done on Fort Solis. I mean, it sounds like all of their voice work is done, their motion capture work is done, their performance capture work is done. So, like, they sounded like that they're, like, Troy Baker and Roger Clark, they sounded like they were done. Like, they had already done their job and had moved on to the next project. Different things get done at different times in video game development, right? But it just makes me wonder how far along the project actually is. I don't know. It sounds like it could be close, but it could not be. I don't know. I mean, obviously, that statement is kind of like a non sequitur. If I said everything and nothing at the exact same time. So, I don't know. I don't know. But I feel like it could be closer than we realize. But yeah, that's a Fort Solis or Solis. I think they said Solis. Anyway, what do you think? I'd love to hear from you. Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. If you are keeping up on all of these different space horror themed games, where are you sitting on them? Which ones have your attention more than the others? Are you looking forward to like Callisto Protocol or Fort Solis, or are you more wanting to look at like Boundary or whatever that one from Square Enix? Is it from Square Enix? Or oh, crap, what is it called? There's another one that is actually pretty high up on my list of games that I would like to keep an eye out for, but it got pushed to like 2024 or some shit. It was announced at one of the State of Plays or something like that, like last year, and it looked really cool, but it's so far out that I have already erased its name from my mind. Leave your thoughts down in the comments below. If you want to keep up the conversation elsewhere, two great places to do so are Discord and Twitter. Speaking of Discord, we actually have a channel dedicated to these reactions where you can place links of your own that we can check out together live on stream, because we do stream 4 days a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday, and I would love to see you there. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. If you want to catch future videos, please subscribe to the channel. And if you do watch one of the other videos on the channel, or if I see you in the live stream, thank you and enjoy.